talking home run derby. Home run derby.
Who's in it this year?
Some big names. Big names that I think are maybe some of the best names we've had in recent years. Big bat speed. A couple guys who can absolutely drive the ball to the ballpark. Caminero, O'Neal Cruz, Brent Rooker. Those are the ones that immediately come to my mind. Obviously, Cal Raleigh, too, leading the league in home runs. So there's like a good combination of hitters with elite bat speed and then a good combination of hitters with really, really good bat speed, but also very uphill bat paths that know how to lift the ball in game pretty well.
Yep.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this crop of hitters we have for this home run derby?
Obviously, the easy guys are bat speed and pull air because those are the easy ones. Like, obviously, Raleigh's leading the league in that entirely. Brent Rooker's known for doing it. O'Neal Cruz swings the bat ridiculously fast. So does Caminero. It's like a mix of those guys, and then there's some of the ones that are like a balance of that, or they're like have one of the two pieces. It's like maybe doing this gets them to both. Obviously, like that's what we're going to talk about a little bit too. But some of the guys that like can pull the ball in the air, don't do it a whole lot. Like maybe this makes them do it, or like we run into like there's guys in years past who like try to hit too many balls to center during the home run derby, and it doesn't work out very well.
Yeah,
just because it's really hard to hit homers to center.
Yeah. Slower pitch, right? Like obviously these guys have elite bat speed, and they can definitely do it in the game, but slower pitch speed definitely going to contribute a little bit to slightly slower exit velocities, and then less far batted balls, especially just depending on the ballpark they're in too. Yeah. So I think in Atlanta, I don't know much about the ballpark, whether it's super hitter friendly or not, but like the strategy is always going to be pulling the ball in the air to the smaller parts of the park. Although I am curious to see someone like Acuna, who has in the past gone oppo with this home run derby swing, and actually had some decent success doing it, but it's just like an anomaly to be able to do that. I don't think that's probably the winning strategy.
Yeah, definitely not the win. Like James was an interesting one. Like obviously our guys have talked about him too, of like finally hit a ball ridiculously hard and it happened to be pull side in the air.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a big one too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm very curious about some of the guys who, or at least the guys that you think we'll start with performing the best. Like the guys that you think will perform the best in the home run derby, either based on like swing characteristics or based on some of the metrics they have. What are your thoughts there?
O'Neal Cruz is the easy one because he swings ridiculously fast, and like easily swings really fast. So then imagine when he like tones it down a little bit, probably in a BP environment, just like hits a bunch of fly balls, and it's going to be no issue to do that. I think Atlanta plays relatively well in right field too.
Yeah. Cruz is interesting because he swings bat really fast, and if you look at some of the bat tracking, bat path metrics, like his attack angle's not bad either. Mm-hmm. Swing path tilt's not bad, and he hits some of his hardest balls actually in the air. So like an easier controlled environment like the home run derby, I think it's gonna be incredibly easy for him to lift balls to right field pretty consistently.
Yeah. I mean, he's averaging 78.6 bat speed on the year, 10 attack angle, 50% in that range. Pull attack direction, so he's set up to do this.
Yeah.
Let's see, I think he had like highest pull air of his career outside of his rookie year so far too. Yeah, up to 17 last year, 16.6 this year.
Nice.
But 5% more fly balls too.
Yeah,
which helps.
So would you say that there is a archetype of hitter that maybe in the past, an archetype of hitter that could be more successful in the home run derby, and then what does that archetype look like with some of the metrics?
Are you saying that's like already set to do well in the derby?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, bat speed, one. So like have to have the ability to hit homers. So like guys who don't hit homers don't go in the home run derby. If they do, like everybody makes fun of them for doing it. Because like the guys talk about in BP of like those big power guys, of like just how far they actually hit balls in batting practice and on command too.
Right.
That those guys have no issue doing it. Obviously guys that like have a little bit higher attack angles, like just on their default swing is in the air. Just because that's going to allow them to do it. Like slower pitch speed, like you said, pitch comes in a little more lower descent. Like they're not having to work to try to lift the ball.
Right.
That's just their path. So it's guys that don't have to do too much outside of their normal swing to try to get there.
Yeah, completely agree. Now, let's talk about some of the guys that don't really have that sort of swing. The immediate one, obviously bat speed wise is great, but Caminero is more of a lower attack angle, more of an oppo direction. And you see a lot of his batted balls and they're cut sliced. But he has so much bat speed that, he'll slice one out to right field. He'll slice one even to center field at times. What do you think the home run derby could do for a guy like that?
It's going to help it be easier the rest of the season. So he knows and has obviously hit the homers to do it. But it's obviously hard to deny where the success comes from high bat speed guys, and it's pulling the ball in the air. So putting him in a situation where he's going to have to figure out how to do that, and not necessarily a difficult environment either, may make it really easy for him to just make a slight adjustment the rest of the year and get there easier more often. And we talked about earlier of guys in the past that have done the same thing. So Julio in 23, Bobby Witt last year, guys that have similar types of swing profiles and then had some success later in the year too.
Yeah. Generally, it's the guy who has pretty substantial bat speed but doesn't quite have a great bat path to be able to lift the ball. And then the majority of the time, those hitters are creating some of their hardest hit balls lower to the ground. So running, harder ball launch angles and in the single digits, running higher ground ball percentages than league average. And then what we kind of noticed, right, is after they, participate in the Derby and they kind of train their swing to work more uphill, some of those metrics, some of those numbers start to turn around in the second half, right?
Yep. So pulling up Julio's here for 23, pre-All-Star break. So launch angle on exit view was over 100, was 5.7. Post All-Star break was 11.9. Yeah. So up.
It's a big increase.
6.2 degrees is huge. Hard hit error went up 14%. OPS went up 220 points. The huge one is 9.5% more pull just in general, but doubled his pull air.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Yeah, that's basically the most ideal outcome in this situation, right?
Yes,
it's not going to work for everybody, right? We've seen that, right?
Mm-hmm.
There isn't this is a guarantee to make you better, but it's also not this is going to ruin your swing, right? So it's there is lots of different types of hitters in the MLB, and some guys can utilize this event and actually turn their seasons around completely from just trying to groove their swing to lift the ball a little bit more.
Yep. And Julio ended up swinging and missing less, whiffing less in the zone, striking out less. Now, he did chase a little bit more, but he probably didn't hit it, which is better for him.
Yeah.
Versus going to put every single ball that he swings at in play.
Right.
Give himself more chances to hit home.
Yep. So, mentioned Bobby Witt, too. What did last year was an interesting one for him because he wasn't necessarily a big home run guy going into the home run derby. I don't think he even had 20 yet at that point, right? Could be wrong on that, but
that's somewhere.
He ended up with
16 and 16.
So that's 16 in the first half and 16 in the second half, which a lot less games played in the second half. Same sort of situation, and I think you had something obviously beyond just the harder ball launch angle, but I think you said the attack angle increase as well, right?
Yeah, slight increase for Witt on attack angle. Nothing crazy. I think it was close to 1 degree, but 1 degree as far as attack angle makes a pretty big difference too.
Yeah, just 1 degree overall, right? Remember, this is an average, right? It's average attack angle. It's not essentially you're going to take some swings, right, where you're a little bit beat and you're going to have lower attack angles, and you're going to take more swings where you're out in front more trying to do damage, and the attack angle is going to be higher. So the swings that he was choosing to do damage on more than likely had higher attack angles than previously in the first half because of him just purely trying to get the ball in the air more. And that's another guy with that kind of swing archetype of like lower attack angle, like kind of almost down and across in a way, where like you see some of the balls that he hits to center, right center, and they're not like fully flushed.
Yeah.
Like you can see off the bat, they're clipped a little bit, but because he's running, 75 mile an hour bat speed up there, he can get away with it a little bit. But I think the big thing for him was that it turned some of those swings that, all right, I clipped some of these oppo, pre-home run derby to, I actually maybe drove some of those oppo, or I drove them a little bit better to center because he was actually working up and behind it a little bit cleaner than previously before.
Yeah, so like on hard hit balls, so anything 95 plus, pre All-Star break his attacking was a 3.9.
Yeah.
Post All-Star break was a 5.8. So still
nice.
Low, but when he turned around and changed the ball flight itself, when he was pulling the ball almost 20% more, makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've talked about some of the guys that have had success pre or post home run derby.
Mm-hmm.
Are there guys that haven't had success after hitting in the home run derby, and what are some of those guys looking like with their swings?
So first one that comes to mind was a while back with Judge. Was that 2017?
Yeah.
So a while ago. So like we know he struggled like those first 6 weeks following. Again, he's a high bat speed guy, high attack angle guy, like one that didn't have to do too much in order to hit those homers, and then probably started trying to do too much afterwards.
Yeah, and we know with him too, a lot of his home runs are to the opposite field.
True.
And a lot of his batted balls to the pull side are hooked.
Yeah.
So maybe trying to change his swing to not hook balls to the pull side for the home run derby maybe affected his swing and made him go even more uphill than previously before, right? But continue on.
Yeah, he would be that guy to hit homers to center in the derby.
Right.
Because his swing's set up to do that. And he's strong enough to be able to hit homers out that way. Trying to get to pull side then affects the move a little bit more. Who else was there?
I think who was one of the bigger drops.
Gunnar had a decent drop, at least in home run rate last year.
Yeah.
I would have thought that he'd be one that would do better.
Right.
Let me look into that and see why. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think the interesting one with Judge is my fear is for a hitter like Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
So great bat speed. Now, granted, it's a little bit different in how he creates his home runs, right? Cal Raleigh's pulling the ball in the air. So I think that his strategy is a little bit better in terms of, well, he's just going to go do the same thing. He's not going to try to change how he swings in the home run derby. That being said, I think if he tries more than maybe he already does to try and lift baseballs to the pull side, it may get him too high, too uphill, where he starts top spinning balls. He might hit some top spin homers in the home run derby.
Oh yeah,
because of how fast he swings the bat. But my fear is, does that carry over then into the regular season to where now his biggest strength this season was his ability to adapt on velocity up in the zone. Last year, previous years, he never was able to really handle that. 93, I think I saw this in an article, it was like 93 and below, he was crushing. Breaking balls, crushing. Makes a ton of sense with his swing path. Makes a ton of sense with attack angle. But then as soon as it's 93 plus, he starts to struggle with that. And this year is easily the biggest turnaround in the MLB in terms of that pitch type, right? So is it now you go into the home run derby and you're trying even harder to lift the ball when your swing already does that naturally? Like, do you think that might have an effect on how he performs coming out of the All-Star break?
It's got a chance. A lot of it could come back to what do these guys do actually during the season? We've talked about Freddie Freeman and his pregame BP of he's a steeper bat path guy, goes low oppo almost the entire round of BP. He's a guy that probably wouldn't have success in a home run derby because that's not what he does in his routine. In game, sure, he's going to hit a bunch of pull side homers. So does Cal Raleigh hit homers during BP? I don't know. He might all the time. So it may be really easy. That may be what got him to where he's at too. He may then not have to try to do that in batting practice. It could be super easy for him.
Right.
So it's a guy that are they changing their approach in a batting practice round in a pregame routine in order to get to this?
Right.
And that's where we'll see.
Yeah. No, I would be curious. We were joking about this earlier of having a backside ground ball derby for certain hitters, right?
Yeah.
Who maybe need to do the opposite, right? You've got guys like Julio, Bobby Witt, Caminero,
do it on command.
Who can hit backside ground ball on command, and hitting in a derby where they have to kind of change their swing path in a way where it's going to lift the ball more. Like, all right, let's take the opposite of that. Like, those guys had a ton of success trying to do that. What about taking, these guys who are way too uphill and not having as much success? I wouldn't do this with a guy who is lifting the ball consistently and hitting home runs, right? But like, take a guy like Joey Gallo, right?
Yeah.
Like who had that extreme uphill swing. That's probably not a guy who needs to do that.
And I think he was one that struggled after the Derby too.
Yeah.
But he already had so much whiff in his game anyways, it wasn't going to make a ton of a difference.
Right. Yeah. Let's circle back to, one more guy who had a ton of success after hitting in the home run derby. It's Juan Soto, right? So he's not doing it this year. He's having a really good season, starting to turn things around. But something that he did back in 2021 was participate in the home run derby. And I thought he had a pretty interesting quote. I don't know, do you have that quote?
Pulling it up right now.
Sweet. Yeah, he participated in the derby, and his first half was okay. Second half was unreal. And I think that was the season easily. I mean, it might have been his best season of his career. It was right after the COVID season. But that was kind of what really pushed him into superstardom. And his quote on that was I thought was really interesting.
He said, "You can tell I just feel so much better now," he said in the Zoom session. I was thinking about it, really helped me a bit get that feeling of how to put the ball in the air and everything. I tried everything I could in the first half. The ball was still going on the ground. I think the derby helped me out big time. So and we, like, this is exactly what we honestly did today on the hitting floor here. We set up like a slow righty slider and told every single righty to pull the ball in the air, like giving them the perfect setup to do it. And if they hit a ground ball, they lost points and got pissed. And so it's for the guys and a lot of our guys struggle to do it. So the guys who do it naturally, they did really well. The guys who don't, they struggle because they're trying to do something different.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting that like something as simple as just creating an environment of trying to lift the ball in the air, how that can affect different hitter swings. Yep. So that's the coolest part about like what we do is trying to identify who might benefit from that, who's already pretty good at that.
Yeah.
And like the ultimate goal is to, we're obviously not cookie cutting guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing, but finding a way for every hitter to achieve that result in their own unique way, right? So like the most desired result in baseball is the home run. So finding a way to utilize a smaller part of the field, and when you do pull it, you hit in the air with the right sort of spin. That's the sort of training environment that a lot of hitters, I think, don't capitalize on enough. Yep. Is they go up there and they just try to pepper the middle of the field, but they never actually try to practice pulling the ball in the air. And then when they end up trying to do it in the game, you basically are trying to pull a tool out of a tool bag that you haven't developed yet, or you haven't, owned yet. And so things go wrong. Yep. That's the same idea with guys who, when they go in the game and they try to take a big old swing on a 3-0 count, well, have you ever actually taken a 3-0 count swing before in your life?
Yep.
And then guys, struggle in those situations and they just don't take 3-0 swings as a result of that. And then they end up not, usually missing out on the best pitch they're going to see in the at-bat. So it's just like adding that into your practice. It doesn't need to be a everyday thing. It doesn't need to be every single round thing. Yeah. But like, all right, we practice hitting backside line drives. We practice hidden runs. We practice hidden line drives off the L screen at the middle. Why can't we practice the most desired outcome, which is pulling a ball in the air?
Yeah. And sometimes like you have to turn that environment down a little bit, make it a little bit easier, figure out how to get there so you know how to then do it when it's harder too.
Right.
Give the guy the easier setup to do it. Like for us, it turns into a slower breaking ball. We're not trying to go like slow BP home run derby style too. But yeah, we still want it to be hard, but not too easy.
Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts on either past or this current upcoming?
The one I was looking at was Gunnar Henderson. So I looked at him earlier this year. He crushes breaking balls.
Yep.
Struggles against fastballs, like huge difference in attack angle. He's one who struggled after the Derby in 24. Whether it has anything to do with the Derby, I don't know. But his attacking went down 2 degrees. He started hitting more ground balls, pulling the ball less. Like, to me, that doesn't sound like a Derby issue. That sounds like he changed something else or just didn't have the success in doing it. So, like, a lot of people try to blame the Derby on something else. It's like, if you hit more ground balls the second half than you did the first half, you're not going to hit as many homers. And if you drop 7% pull air, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
So that may have nothing to do with the Derby. Could it? Maybe. But from what I'm seeing, he put in more balls in play, which makes it look like, and his chase went up. He was just putting bad pitches in play and getting himself out way too often versus hitting pitches that he can hit homers on.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the biggest misconception with the home run derby in general is I think most of the time a guy who struggles in the second half, it's not necessarily because of what they did in the derby. It's most likely that they were trying to fix something that didn't need to be fixed, or they're pressing to achieve the things that they achieved in the first half, and then as a result, chase goes up. You start swinging at bad pitches. You're not able to achieve the things that you want to swing wise. But I think there are definitely guys whose swings can use almost like a vacation. Like, instead of being so grooved on hitting like backside line drives and being perfect with the ball in play, like, be okay with just letting it go every once in a while. Like, especially in practice where like it's no harm, no foul. There is no failure, right? Like, obviously the home run derby is the most high profile round of BP in the world, right? Like, because everyone's watching that. But like, who cares if you win the home run derby or not? Like, use it as an opportunity to let your swing eat a little bit, to drive some balls in the air to the pull side, and see if that's what your swing needs to help get you back in the groove, to be able to do damage again. Yeah.
So like, Gunnar in 24 hit 28 homers in the first half. Probably got pitched completely different. Why would you ever throw that guy another pitch that he could hit after you hit 28 homers in a half the season? So like, high profile homer guys get pitched a lot differently after you hit a bunch of homers. So it changes things a little bit.
Who else? I think the other one that I thought was interesting was Pujols, and there's a little bit less data on him. There's no bat tracking at the time, but he went from
6 homers the first half, 18 in the second half. Went from 5% home runs per plate appearance to almost 13.
I mean, he basically just fully sold out to doing home run derby in the game. And he could, because that was his last go around in the MLB. He had nothing to lose,
and at his age too. Bat speed wasn't going to be good.
With the aging curve hitting him basically as hard as it possibly could, he had no choice but to pull the ball in the air. He had no choice, and he kind of, I got to feel like he found some of that in the home run derby, and he just took it and ran, and he just absolutely dominated his role with the Cardinals at the end of his career.
Our estimated bat speed still had him at 72 and 73 post All-Star game. But 1,100 LPS in the second half, 8% pull air up. Average launch went up 6 degrees. Hard hit launch went up 3. More line drives, less ground balls, more fly balls. He was already at 43% pull air and went up to 61.
Wow, that's insane.
With only a 13% K rate and 13% end zone whiff.
No, I mean, it's just, I think the biggest takeaway for me with the home run derby is just like, you just need to know your swing. Like, and if you know what things you struggle with, like Junior Caminero is the perfect candidate for this. Just leading the league in ground ball double plays. Like, this could completely turn him around. And like I say that, the guy's still OPSing above 800, and he's got 23 home runs. That's all bat speed. That is all bat speed. Like, the guy
let him miss some homers. Better, easier.
Like, if this guy grooves his swing from the home run derby to lift the ball a little bit more, I mean, is
just a little bit.
50 home runs is like in the equation at that point. I mean, he's got 23. He could easily hit 25 in the second half if he gets the ball off the ground, 10% less, right? They're 10% more, right? So that's my biggest takeaway. It's just, if you're the type of guy that can benefit from this, you might as well do it, right? And that's my biggest like plea to some of these hitters in the big leagues who have absurd bat speed and have absurd potential, is just might as well do it, right? I think the biggest one who I'm kind of bummed out that he's not doing it is Julio, right? Like, he did it 2 years in a row and he had absurd second halves. A guy showed that he can play at an MVP level for half of a season. Like, why not do it in the off season?
Yeah.
Do your home run derby in February instead of doing your home run derby in July.
Talks about historically a slow starter, can't hit in the cold, whatever that is. Maybe just stuck hitting in a cage where he's trying to hit the back of the net instead of some homers.
Get down to Florida.
Yeah.
Go outside, lift some balls over the left field fence, show up ready to go on day one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Got anything else for me on this?
I don't think so.
All right. Sweet. Home run derby.
Hell yeah.